Good morning, everyone. I'm so sorry I'm late this morning. I have this headache this morning that I can't seem to shake, and my stomach's a little off, so I think I might be coming down with something. But thankfully, you guys can't catch whatever I have through this video, so I will be fine. I just really slow this morning and sluggish, and so it's a little late today, but I am still happy to share it with you. So today is Casing Tuesday, and that's when we take a card out of the catalog and we give it a makeover. And the great thing about this challenge is that you can do it with us. We have a Facebook group for that, so you can go in and copy a card, give it a makeover with us. Good morning, Mary. And when you do that, you can also share it on our Facebook group. And if you want to join our Facebook group, just look down below in the description of this video, and there is a place for you to click and join. Last week we had quite a few people share their cards, and I just love to see all the different variations of cards from that basic first card. So let me share with you today the card that we are copying. Isn't that pretty? I love this card. It's got some nature elements on the right, and then we have that new punch oh my gosh, and I can't even remember the name of the punch. Let me go find the name of the punch for you. I didn't use it on my card, so that's why it's not sticking in my brain, but I actually have it, and I did actually work with it to see if I wanted to use it on my card, but in the end I ended up going in a different direction. It is called the braided border punch, and someone just fed through that ribbon with the punch, and I think it looks fantastic. I love this card. It's bright, it's cheerful, it's awesome. Let me find the sketch. So the sketch is pretty simple. It's got that wide open space on the right and some kind of strips on the left. You can use the braided border punch, or you can just use a piece of paper like I did. So I'll show you how, or what I did with my card. I'm going to switch cameras. So here's my card. Isn't it bright and cherry and gorgeous? And that's why I didn't add that braided piece, because my florals were so bright and cherry that I didn't want to take away from that. So I kind of kept things a little bit more simple, and I just kind of had one paper strip on the side here, and I just opted to put a little ribbon instead of feeding that ribbon through that braided border punch. So that's my card. And then I want to talk about the Timeless Tulips Bundle. When you buy the stamp set and the punch together, you save 10%, so that's why it's called a bundle. And it consists of the Timeless Tulips stamp set and the Tulip Builder punch. And the punch is really nice, so I can stamp all my greenery first, and then I can stamp my tulip head second, and then I can punch them out and add them over top. So it makes it a little bit easier for a beginner stamper, and it makes it faster and easier even for an advanced stamper. So the trick with this card will be how we stamp this greenery, and that's the main trick to the card. So I'm going to show you how I did that. So I'll start with a card base, and this is just a piece of thick Whisper White, 8.5 by 5.5, and scored in half at the 4.5 inch mark. Now I need to get this piece to sit flat again, because it's a little harder to stamp if it's not flat. So I'm just going to use my bone folder to kind of help it sit really flat for me. And I'm going to use my Granny Apple Green ink pad. And that's actually what all the greenery is stamped in, is Granny Apple Green. And the easiest way to start off with is to stamp your greeting first, and then you build everything up from there. So let me just get that inked up, and I want to put this, sorry if my head's in the camera. Let me stand up. I always do that, put my head in the camera. So you want this down near the bottom, okay? And then everything else is going to build up from there. So not in an attempt not to put the camera in my head in the camera again. So you want one to come across here. You need to leave enough room for the leaves, and you need to leave also enough room for the head of the tulip. So kind of keep that in mind too when you're stamping here. So you want to kind of, it's going to come off a little bit here, like this maybe, and like this. Okay, so that's the first one. It will have enough room for the leaves to come. Then up here, I'm going to have a tulip. So I want to make sure this one's kind of coming across here, maybe about like this. And I don't know if I left enough room, but we'll see. And then this one maybe down here, I want it a little bit lower. So I'm going to kind of cross across right here. All right, so then I'm going to take the leaves, and there are 3 leaves that come with this stamp set, and I just chose this one right here. So if you want to do different leaves, you can. To keep it simple, I just used one of them. So the first leaf is going to come down about here. And my second one, I'm going to kind of have it come in between here. And then one kind of comes up like this. And then one comes over like this. Okay, I think that's good. If I don't feel like there's enough fullness in the stems, I'll come back over afterwards and add some leaves. So that's basically my design. It looks a little messy, but just keep in mind that half of this is going to be covered and then the tulip heads will be on top of the stems. So let me set this aside for a moment and let's stamp our heads on a separate piece of cardstock. And I'm going to start with my lightest color, and that's Daffodil Delight. And I've got my tulip head right here. And when you're stamping these, you want to keep in mind, you want to stamp over here on the left side first. Like if you're only doing like one of these and you have a bigger piece, because of the way the punch is oriented, where did my punch go? The way my punch is oriented, you are going to be punching from this side first. So I would do this, stamp it, and then you'll go in and punch it out. Make sure it's centered. Okay, so that's the first one. If I had done this over here on this side, I would have ended up with a leaf punched out as well, and I don't want that. So now I'm going to clean this off camera. I've got my stamping chamois over here, and you want to clean off in between stamping, because that way your colors will remain pure and won't get muddied. Next color is Flirty Flamingo, and I'm just going to ink that up here. Stamp it. Oh, you know what? I think because my stamp was a little wet, I got a little bit of a blotch there. So let me stamp that again, see if I can get a better impression. Okay, see, that's a little bit better. So I'm gonna, yeah, I feel like it's a little wet there. Didn't quite get completely dried off. All right, now I'm going to need another piece of cardstock, because guess what? Let me grab one over here. I only gave myself enough room for, let's see, is that enough room? Yeah. I only gave myself enough room for stamping 3 tulip heads, so need another piece. I have a piece or a basket of Whisper White remnants that I always use, and I keep it right beside my desk, so it's easy to just grab another piece. And then I'll ink this up. This color is Gorgeous Grape. Nice purple for spring. I just love these colors together. Just they scream spring, don't they? Purple, pink, and yellow just are really pretty spring colors to put together. And especially today when it's so cold out. It is sunny here today, but it's not very nice for being outside. Okay, so I've got my little tulip heads. And before I go any further, I just want to show you what I did. This is a piece of Bright's Designer Series paper. And I started off with a piece that was 5.5 by 1 3/4 inches. What I did, I cut it to 1 3/4 inches first, and then I kind of wanted to have the top and the bottom match up. So I kind of cut off a little piece from here, a little piece from here, until this was 5.5, and it was basically centered. And then I just scallop cut along the edge. I just used my paper snips to cut across the edge. And then I got this to about 1.5 inches wide. That's how wide it will be. So I'm just gonna lay this on here and have a look and see if I need to do any additional stamping. So I wanna lay that there. I'm gonna lay this tulip here. Oh, see, I don't know if I like that. I can put that one here. Okay. And then this one here. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, I like that. So basically, let's take this piece first and just add some Tombow to it. And we're going to glue that to the edge of the card. I left my Tombow open. Oh geez, it's clogged. Get my paper clip and just clean out that clog. It's my fault. I left it open earlier and that's why it's clogged. Should have closed it up. I got distracted and I was checking my email and then I came back to it and yeah. So then we'll just put this along the spine. And this is out of the Brights collection, I said, and it is Granny Apple Green. So I'm using Granny Apple Green to do my stamping, and then I'm using Granny Apple Green paper. And the reason I do that is so that there's not a lot of distractions. The green becomes a very neutral thing, and then the rest of the flowers just kind of give the pop of color. So the green becomes very neutral and the flowers all kind of make the pretty part. So I just kind of am lining this so it looks like it's coming off of the stem. And then let's add some Tombow to the back of this one and bring it down. If I bring it down too far, I think I want it up a little bit more. I want them kind of layered over top of each other. And then finally, I'll add this flamingo one. Flamingo being the color. I'll just kind of slide that into place. So it kind of gives, you know how tulips kind of bend a little bit? They're not always straight, proper and straight. They're kind of, sometimes they bend over a little bit. That's kind of the impression I want these flowers to have. They kind of just bend a little bit. So then the last thing I did was I took some of this crinkled seam binding. It's white. It's new in the catalog. I like this seam binding because you can color it with Stampin' Blend, so that's kind of cool. But you can just take a bit of this. Let's see if I can take enough of it. And it is a little frayed, and that is supposed to be that way. And I actually like it like that because it makes it look, oh, you know, not quite totally proper and just, you know, freestyle and a little shabby chic. So I'll just take this and tie a knot. And then I'm going to take my locking tweezers, which I like to do, and just pin that down. And you can find locking tweezers at craft stores, usually in the jewelry section. So just in case you're looking for that. And I'm just going to tie this. Stampin' Up! A long time ago had a pair of locking tweezers. We had a toolkit, and that's where I first got the idea, but we no longer carry that. But I just loved having those tweezers that I just can't now stop using them. So now I just have like some tweezers that I use for my crafting purposes. And so this is just like a little bow. I'm kind of fussing with it a little bit, but I want my ends kind of to be over here, and then I'll just kind of snip off the ends on an angle. And there is the card. It's not a very hard card. Well, the only thing hard about it perhaps is to get the stems so they're kind of going that way. But even though I was probably just a little bit off my original card, I feel like I still kind of got the essence of the card. And the main thing to try and remember is stamp your greeting first, so you have a spot for that, so you're not trying to fit that in afterwards. The greeting on the sample card was further up here, and I could have done that, but I kind of wanted my tulips to go up there, so my greeting moved down a little bit further. So I think those would make some really pretty spring birthday cards. I know we all have birthdays for people in our lives, so that's just a nice little card that you can do. That's not too much trouble, but it's got a little bit different of a look down the side than just a plain strip, because we cut along the scallops like that. So it's just a little different. Oh, and my camera is crooked the whole time. I'm sorry, guys. You OCD type will hate that. Sorry. The OCD type will probably already stop watching my video because I couldn't stand the crookedness. Sorry, guys. I didn't look over to see on my main camera to see that it was a little off. Oh my gosh. Let me read. I'm going to go back and just scroll and see if there's any comments. Hello, Alice and Marie. And Mary as well. I said hello to you earlier. Thank you so much for joining me and saying hi. I hope you guys have a great day. If you need any of the supplies for this card, again, go down below. That's where all the information is. I was a librarian in a past life, so I like to put information where people can find it, and that is usually down below in the description of the video. So just lots of clickable links for you there. And I will be back next week with another Casing Tuesday. But I do have something coming up this week. Last week, I was working with the little truck ride dies, and they were so cute. And someone during my video said, I'd love to do a pop-up card with that. So guess what? I played with it, and I came up with 2 different versions of a pop-up card, and I'll share both of those with you this week. I started off, I have a very simple one because sometimes people don't want to fuss with a very difficult one. But the difficult one was actually, it's not difficult. It's just a little bit piecey. The other one is a 3D truck pop-up, and it was a lot of fun to create. It didn't really, it was a little longer to figure out and to make work the way I wanted it to work. It's a little piecey, but it's also a lot of fun. It challenged my brain a little bit. So I will share that with you later this week. So stay tuned for that. And remember, it's celebration right now. And with every $50 you spend, you get a free celebration item. And then the best deal in town, of course, is always the starter kit. It is $99 and you get $125 worth of product for that starter kit. And you can put whatever product you want in there. And then we have some additions to the starter kit during celebration, which lasts until March 31st, 2020. And you will get a 6x6 paper pack, a little mini paper cutter, and you get a bonus stamp set in addition to the $125 worth of product, plus free shipping. So it's a really great deal. So if you have quite a few products you want to buy, the starter kit is the best deal always. But even if you only spend $50, you get a reward of a celebration stamp set. So don't forget that's happening right now. All right. I hope you guys have a great week, and stay tuned for my truck pop-ups coming later this week. All right, guys, take care. Bye-bye.